The reason we're having an influx in successful scams is because we have an influx of people who think they're completely immune to being the victim of a scam.
The other night, I got arrested at the airport because I was doing a half-off flight.
Okay, so today we're going to be going over a recent batch of scams out there because honestly, this series could probably run on my channel until the end of time. We're going to be going over so many different types of scams, whether it's online, in person, shopping related fraud, any of my own experiences recently too. So I'm going to try to put these subtopics into some sort of order because I don't want this to turn into a manic episode just showing you example after example after example. Because on top of it, I also have some comments from you guys from previous videos with your experiences. So if you want to be featured in a future video, leave it in the comments down below. But I guess we're going to just jump right into it, starting off with a recent issue on TikTok, the AI crystal mugs.
The reason we're having an influx in successful scams is because we have an influx of people who think they're completely immune to being the victim of a scam. Yes, that includes younger people. Fellow millennials, I'm looking at you. Gen Z, I'm looking at you. And I have never been so confident in a thesis as to the phenomenon that has happened this holiday season concerning the crystal mug. If you guys have not seen it, there has been a viral crystal mug that has gone viral on here that is clearly AI. Like, if you'd never seen AI before, you should still be able to point to that and be like, that's a cartoon. The amount of people, younger people, who confidently bought that mug only to open it and be like, why does it look like that? It looks like that because you bought a cartoon, Megan. You bought a promise of something that's literally not real.
And this ended up popping up around the perfect time, right before Christmas. So if you want to get any small gift for somebody, you know, you're not going to spend a whole ton of money. Everybody just swiping on TikTok, which turns into a bunch of sponsored posts, a bunch of ads. You could just swipe on TikTok shop. And this cup ended up only being around $10 to $20. So kind of a perfect gift. But if you didn't see the video, I'll put it up in a second, but we look at some of the comments. The crystal cup was so alarming. How did anyone not realize? The search being crystal coffee mug real is deeply upsetting to me. I mean, another one with AI, I work in a garden center. The amount of boomers bringing in AI pictures looking for the pink hosta, which I don't even know anything about that. I would assume it's more fake pictures of plants. But the video up on screen right now tricked many people into thinking this was actually legit. And I mean, I don't want to say it's the worst thing on the planet. Like, it looks like CGI from like 35 years ago in a movie when you watch it and go, ooh, like that, it didn't age well. It's not absolutely terrible, but if you really look at it, you can kind of just see it just honestly looks a little off. And on top of it too, with it being so cheap, you really think you're going to get a cup that looks this cool for that little amount of money in today's world? But unfortunately, many people fell for it, and there was another trend on TikTok showing other family members who did get tricked and what they actually got. It was basically just plastic, a whole bunch of different colored plastic cups. It clearly wasn't going to be crystals or minerals or anything like that. And of course, it looked way worse than the AI video did. And I think a comment from one of you guys goes really well with the AI cups and the next clip. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Especially when we're talking about the TikTok shop, all right? I don't want to say it's 100% Temu, but it's getting there. If you've ever looked at some of the products, I'm starting to look, I might do a video in the future of just the garbage quality products and just blatant copyright too on top of it. But we're getting into the realm of just absolute slop products all over the app, and I don't want to say it's 100% terrible. I bought one item from a TikTok shop, but it was another creator who ends up putting characters into other paintings. You've most likely seen the video popping up on screen right now, but it was primarily just because a creator was selling his products on it. It wasn't really like the drop shipping type, which is 100% what happened to the AI mugs, but we can look at another one.
Okay, I was on TikTok a couple weeks ago, got an ad for a jacket. I'll show you. The original ad is obviously not up anymore. You'll find out why, but this is like what it looked like. So it was a jacket like this, like the cow print, that one that's like super expensive that's trending right now, like this and this. It was like a kind of combo of the two, but it had like the nice like metal zipper, the inside, like, okay, right? I knew it would probably be lower quality than like the shit they put in the ad, but I never, like, I'm so embarrassed, but it's so funny. I have to show you guys. Hold on. This is what I unwrapped from the package.
That's honestly the level, if you've ever seen the trend of what I purchased versus what I got on Temu. It's a whole trend on TikTok. It was in a part of my video talking about Temu items on my second channel, but it was honestly dead on to this clip where you see a nice item, even though the cowhide zip up jacket, to me, definitely not my style, but then you actually see what you get shipped in the mail and it is just the worst. One of the comments on the video though does really nail it on the head. At what point do we blame ourselves for thinking you could get a cowhide jacket for $60? I don't know how expensive they are. She did say that the new trending jacket was super expensive, and her buying it off a TikTok shop probably meant it was way cheaper. So you kind of end up getting what you pay for, but overall is still a scam. We have another comment from you just showing how ridiculous shopping online in general has become. After the last couple of Black Fridays where people would post videos showing the original price tag under the Black Friday tag, and often it was the same or more expensive, I'm surprised people are shocked that Amazon's doing it as well. We've talked about it a few times on various videos. Prime Day does the exact same thing. If you have a certain item in the cart and let's say it's $100, whenever they designate Prime Day, they'll actually up the price to like $125, but then it'll go back on sale for around $100. So psychologically, people think they're getting a good deal, but if you were actually looking at the item price constantly, it's basically just a straight up scam. And if Amazon's doing it, that means everybody's also going to be doing it as well, and it's just going to end up getting worse. Another issue that popped up on TikTok recently, pretty similar to the Chase Bank glitch we saw a few months ago, is the new trend of half off flights. If you don't know what it is, you've probably seen a couple seconds of this type of clip, and then we'll get a little bit more in depth.
The other night, I got arrested at the airport because I was doing a half-off flight. When y'all see people posting half-off flights, no. It ain't no half-off bail when that bail is up there.
Seems pretty similar to a lot of the videos that we saw with the consequences of the Chase Bank glitch. But here we have a clip of a guy going more in depth. It's honestly just baffling to me.
So let me get this straight. You want to plan a girl's trip from Atlanta, Georgia to Cambodia, and you look up the tickets through Delta, $1,500, and you say, you know what, that's too much. But you in this Facebook group, and Asia in this Facebook group say she can get you a half-off flight, right? So instead of you paying $1,500, you pay $750. You get to the airport, you confused because they tell you to step out the line and now the police coming. Now you looking confused. I don't understand what you're confused about. Asia don't work for the airline. Asia took your $750, pocketed that money, used somebody else's credit card to purchase those tickets. I don't understand, like every couple of months y'all be into some scheming, scamming shit and be so confused when they finna haul your ass off. Like, I don't understand. We can't be the new adults. Listen, the fact of the matter is this. The point of the matter is this. You get a half-off flight, but you go to whole jail. That's it. Have a good day.
We could look at some of the comments before I say something about it. Just watch an episode of Sopranos where Tony got arrested for this. I haven't watched The Sopranos, so maybe this did already happen. I bet forms of this have been around forever now, but especially with how expensive some flights are around these specific times, you know, holiday season, it ends up being like $500 to thousands of dollars per ticket, and not for first class. It's not like they're living the high life. So more people end up scouring online to try to find some sort of deal, and I do think it's very interesting in a world that we live in today where we honestly don't trust anybody around us. We don't really talk to our neighbors anymore. We're all more standoffish to each other, very skeptical. However, the amount of trust that are given to complete strangers online. I trust some random person to give me a half-off flight. I trust some random company on TikTok to give me some amazing crystal mineral mug. Same thing with the cowhide jacket for $60. And then tons of people are just surprised that they ended up getting scammed. It's very odd where the trust lands now in today's world. Another clip that I found finishing off, I guess, the TikTok sub-portion of this video is talking about how TikTok trends can be manufactured.
Once you gain a certain amount of followers on this app and TikTok starts pushing ad campaigns onto you, you start to realize how many trends on here are just fake. Like, a lot of them are completely inauthentic. This song and the trend that goes along with it in specific is completely inauthentic. They have been pushing this onto me every single day for the past month. This new track, Messy, is going viral. Join the campaign and get rewarded. 5 days ago, 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 1 day ago, an hour ago. And hey, no shame with it, like get your bag if you want to, but I do find it really funny that specifically in the instructions, it points out, just like Sophia Richie did. So all the people that are talking about Sophia Richie are only doing that because TikTok tells you to. And obviously it's not just that song. I've been wondering why I've been seeing so many Black Myth Wukong clips on my For You page recently, and it's because they're paying people to post Black Myth Wukong clips. And I'm not saying that everyone that used that sound or played that game are doing it because they're getting paid, but what I am saying is if a bunch of people post about the exact same thing around the exact same time, you know, more than likely they might be getting paid for it.
So of course, we've probably seen this with sponsored posts, or if you watch any Twitch live streams, sometimes streamers will play a specific game for an hour or two and everybody will do it in like a week or two time frame, and then they all kind of drop off. But in the way of TikTok dances or trends with songs, the exact same thing's happening. So any of the new trends that could be getting passed around or any of the memes could also become digital marketing tactics, and nothing will end up being authentic in the end. It's honestly just really depressing, but we can look at one of the comments from you guys. I always get emails saying, "Hello dear, you've been accepted for an interview, you know, whatever position." What employer would start an email with "Hello dear"? Especially for the interview and the job portion types of comments or spam that you'll get in your emails, text messages, phone calls, you name it. That's some of the consequences of people putting in their information on Indeed trying to apply for jobs. Of course, we all know job market is terrible right now. It's so difficult to find a job in general, let alone a good paying one where you could actually thrive in the world right now. So you have so many people just spamming out all of their information to every job application they could find. Some of them end up being complete scams. They're just trying to get free data off of you to sell to somebody else to start trying to scam you. I can guarantee that's exactly what this email would have done if she went through with it. I get these kinds of emails all the time in different ways. I don't personally get the job emails all the time, but now I'm just hounded by completely fake companies probably trying to do the same thing, get my information, sell it off to somebody else, or just completely try to scam me. I have tons of these where it's an email from Fujifilm. If you don't know what Fujifilm is, they're a large camera manufacturer. You know, it's like a sponsored collaboration because I have a YouTube channel, but if you actually look at the email and where it's from, it's a completely random email. It looks like it's from Poland, just a random assortment of letters and numbers, so it's a completely BS email, and I get tons of these. This is Fujifilm. I've gotten Sony. I got Vegas Pro, the editing software. I got a fake one from Helix Mattress as well. I've definitely gotten a lot more. I can't think of any off the top of my head because I just end up deleting them right away. But the email stuff, even with your spam filters, oh man, it is getting ridiculous. So we have a little bit more information on an issue that happened years ago. Everybody probably heard about the PPP loans, but now people are starting to finally get in trouble for it, and also showing people who took advantage that you wouldn't normally think.
So we're going to talk about this. The PPP loan was for small business owners that needed to have income during the time COVID was going on and businesses were closed. Take out money for their businesses that were not established. These were fake, fraudulent businesses, and they received the money. Did not have proper documentation for the business. They were not able to provide that the business was real. Also collecting the PPP loan money for their fraudulent business also applied for unemployment because they were laid off of their job. So this is why people are being affected for the PPP loan and for unemployment.
I honestly don't know why it didn't connect in my head, but this is kind of the Chase Bank glitch before the Chase Bank glitch. A ton of random people will hear online that you could get free loans from the government. All you got to do is kind of commit fraud. You know, I did it and now I have a whole ton of money, so it must work. The same way people are getting persuaded for the Chase Bank glitch, and now people are getting prosecuted. But I had another clip that came out recently. Some people you probably wouldn't think need a PPP loan.
The government spent $14.5 billion to support the entertainment industry during COVID, but some of the biggest names in music sent that money mostly to their own pockets.
So Chris Brown, he got $10 million. That's the maximum allowable grant. Out of that $10 million, he paid himself $5.1 million. And then he spent another $80,000 on a 33rd birthday party for himself. All of it paid for by taxpayers.
Marshmello. Christopher Comstock is his legal name. Like, Christopher Comstock paid himself $9.9 million.
Steve Aoki, who's a famous DJ, but fun fact, his dad founded Benihana, took $1.9 million just for himself.
Members of Shinedown were taking home hundreds of thousands of dollars apiece.
A single member of the band Shinedown got more than all of their touring employees.
Alice in Chains got, I think, somewhere north of $6 million, and more than $3 million of that went into these band members' pockets. We found one guy who had worked with Alice in Chains for a long time. Scotty Doc is what people called him. During the pandemic, he was diagnosed with cancer, and AIC Entertainment's budget shows that it didn't spend a dime on health insurance.
It's not really clear how much help Alice in Chains gave to him. They're not listed as contributors to his GoFundMe, and somebody familiar with the situation told us that they referred him to a charity to help with his medical bills. But 2 weeks after posting the GoFundMe, he had died.
So even though this isn't technically fraud, you'd probably think that a lot of these very famous, very wealthy musicians probably didn't need the extra millions of dollars they were pocketing from these loans, but they ended up doing it anyway, and just contributes to the national debt we have. How much worse it's gotten since COVID. Here we have another comment from one of you guys. I get at least 9 to 10 phone calls a day. Want to know about Medicare, car warranties, buying my house. I'm so tired of it. I usually don't answer, but from time to time I answer and screw with them. I know there's a huge YouTube channel that got big, especially over COVID and the amount of spam calls we've all gotten recently. But his entire channel is dedicated to wasting spammers' time. He'll just keep them on the phone for hours on hours. It's actually pretty impressive. Here's another one that was in the news recently, committing more fraud.
Oh my God!
This terrifying moment caught on camera.
Oh my God, what is he doing? Babe, what happened?
Suspected insurance fraudsters intentionally backing into Ashpia Natasha's car on a busy New York City highway.
This guy just reversed into me. What the hell is going on?
Take a look at this. The backseat passenger is trying to put a covering on the back window as the driver climbs over into the front passenger seat before getting out of the car, pretending to be injured. They pull out their phones to record the damage. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, fraudulent automobile accidents occur more frequently in urban areas where there is a greater volume of vehicles, and criminals prey upon women driving alone.
So if this woman did not have a dash cam on her car, she probably would have been screwed. Especially with the scammers in front, they could just say that they got slammed into and there's nothing they could really do about it unless there was maybe like a CCTV camera on the highway, but that's kind of unlikely, at least where it looks like they were. And now there are actively people trying to go out and screw others over. Because I mean, if they had an old Civic, what is that, like a 2009 Civic, so maybe a couple $1,000s. They fake that they slammed into somebody, they'll get some money from the insurance company, and if they walk out with a limp and they fake an injury, I mean, that could be a lawsuit. A whole host of crazy stuff could happen, but honestly, thank God she had the dash cam. It's almost like a subliminal ad for everybody to get a dash cam now. Some of the comments from this video, they need criminal charges. What makes me mad is how the police or the DA office is refusing to prosecute them. I'm not sure, I didn't look this up. I do know New York City is one of the absolute worst, along with LA, for crime. That's why for a while it was so easy for people to take hundreds of dollars worth of items from retail stores, because it was, I think, like around $1,000 would turn into a felony. I think some of the rules have changed. Hopefully they have, but very odd, lax rules they have in such populated areas, which end up becoming more dangerous, more criminals, just because there's so many people in such a small amount of space. Hopefully they were prosecuted, but some of the other comments, disabled brake lights too. There's a second video from a different angle of these people, and there was a red Kia doing the same thing, and they also had a dash cam. So it's almost like teams of scammers are trying to look out and see who they could commit fraud with. And I still have several more examples, and it's not even like I have every single example that's happened since I made the last video a couple months ago. It's honestly just unbelievable. We have another comment from one of you guys' story. My daughter-in-law got the strangest one yesterday, where they linked a person's name that she knows, saying that she's calling in regards to a criminal complaint involving that person they need her to sign for a delivery from an agent. That's very odd. And to avoid further action, blah, blah, blah. And they got the same call with the exact same thing with a list of criminal complaints. So they're just trying to get money out of people and using somebody they know in real life to make it more convincing. I remember hearing about that years ago, and I guess that one's still going strong. But the next clip we have is a favorite of this channel, the guru mastermind Andy Elliott. We've had on a couple of the bad advice TikToks. This is somebody who has the masterminds for literally $10,000 to $20,000. and somebody ended up calling to see how ridiculous this kind of stuff gets.
This is Andy Elliott, sales trainer and business coach and former used car salesman involved in fraud. I signed up to be contacted by one of his recruiters, and he wanted me to sign up for one of the VIP packages at one of Andy's sales retreats.
It's
After
swag
party.
bag, you get closer seats, you're more closer to the stage, you're in better eye contact with Andy.
So I asked him if I could do something one-on-one with Andy.
Well, bro, it's funny that you say that because we actually have this thing called Bloodline Breaker, where you'll work out with Andy, where he'll do like a mastermind for like 3 hours.
What's
and
that?
Then a mastermind is him talking, you having that time with him.
Because he's a mastermind.
Yes,
Right,
right.
Okay, how much is that?
Now, that one's $20,000 for that.
I asked what else that 20K gets me.
Shaking his hand, bro tapping him, all that stuff. Absolutely.
Oh, what's bro tapping?
Shaking his hand, slapping his back, broing him up, dabbing him up.
Ooh, slapping his back? So he sent me an invoice for $5K, and he wanted me to pay them right then and there over the phone. And on the invoice, it said non-refundable, so I asked him what that meant. And he said if something happens and you weren't able to make it, then we would keep the money.
And this video ends up getting worse. He was kind of trolling the guy, the salesman, the whole time, but he said would he get his $5,000 back if he had to go to a funeral if his grandmother died. And the salesman was trying to convince him to go to the seminar instead of the funeral if possible. It was just a nuts story, but it shows how ridiculous these gurus and masterminds become and how much they prey upon people for $20,000. Another one of the comments that if you're watching this video on YouTube, you've probably seen, of course, YouTube allows scams in the comments. Now, I've at least seen recently on my channel a good amount of them go into these spam filters, and I could see them, but they end up not being seen for you guys because a lot of the videos that I make are finance related. Anything related to money get a lot of bots, and they'll make up any excuse. This specific person makes me $20,000 a month, and then there'll be a whole bunch of bot reply comments saying, oh, how could I contact this person? I need this amount of money, or she does so well. I love this person. There's other ones that try to be religious as well, try to get the religious crowd into their scams. And I'm not saying all of them go away, probably because I said that. I wouldn't doubt that there'd be spam comments on this video, but I have seen at least YouTube has been somewhat good at filtering out some of them now. I remember a year ago, oh man, it was like a free-for-all. The whole half of the comments were completely fake. But hopefully YouTube's getting even better and one day they'll be gone. But the next clip is another one related to YouTube actually hurting the sponsors of the videos, along with the people who actually use the content. You probably heard of it, the honey scam.
The honey scam thing is insane. So have you looked into this at all?
I've only seen the first half. I know that they do something with coupon prices that aren't quite, I don't understand that aspect,
So let me
but I do
explain.
understand the affiliate link side.
Basically what Honey is a browser add-on that you add in that's supposed to find coupons for you. Now, it states that it pulls all these coupons from the general internet, and it uses these to find you the best possible price. This is a bold-faced lie. Also, it does really, really worse stuff. So the first thing that it does is if you click on a link, an affiliate link for a content creator gives them money if you do a transaction. As the last clicker of that person's going to get the money, whether it's like a VPN service or like shoes or whatever it's going to be. Now, what Honey does is when you go to click that, it goes, hey, let me check to see if you've got a coupon. And let's say it finds a coupon. It goes, that click was actually mine. Content creator gets $0 now, and Honey pockets the money. Now, it does something even worse than this as it goes forward. Let's say it doesn't find a discount. It still does that. Even if it doesn't find a discount. Let's go even further than that. It doesn't actually have all of the coupons online. Just the ones that are approved from partners, where it partners with different companies.
So this one has definitely blown up in the past couple of weeks. There was a very in-depth video that got tens of millions of views going all through the issues of Honey. And not only is it screwing over some of the people who are using it, it's also screwing over the people who had in-video sponsors, the YouTubers, the content creators that pushed Honey onto a lot of their viewers. So unfortunately, it's just another sponsor that has gone bust. Seems like that's becoming very common nowadays. I've also heard tons of different stuff that's also going to happen. Some people are filing lawsuits to try to get their money back. It's just a complete mess right now. But we have another comment, YouTube related, from one of you guys. What I don't understand is how YouTube's able to accept money from people posting scam ads with AI generated clips from the Prime Minister, cabinet ministers, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, anything, without being sued into oblivion. So to add on with the earlier clip, the AI mug, I don't know how they get through these spam filters of YouTube, but they'll have completely fake clips trying to convince other people and scam them. I mean, they're have already been many of them around, especially in the financial world. A lot of payday loan companies, preying upon people who are in need of money, and YouTube is just completely fine running those ads throughout everybody's videos. Here we have another couple situations from TikTok users. Embarrassingly just fell for a spam call where the person pretended to be law enforcement and said there was a warrant for my arrest because I failed to report to jury duty. I bet that one probably ends up into, oh, you got to pay this certain fine to this PayPal wallet or Bitcoin wallet, something like that, and then everything will just go away, right? Remembering that one time a 13-year-old tried to scam me for $300 worth of Depop clothes, but used a real address for postage, so she looked up the address and rang the phone number and connected to a business under the address she gave, and it was her mom. The girl wasn't sorry at all and instead was mad I called her parents and said she wished she got away with it and sent me a ChatGPT apology. Oh, that's perfect. So I sent the screenshots to her mom and she was not happy with that. We have the ending of it as well in the comments. Did you get your money back? Yes, I got the clothes back and her dad transferred me for the post bags. A 13-year-old trying to scam you on Depop. That's amazing.
20-year-old Singaporean Malone Lam has been charged in the United States with pulling off one of the biggest single-person thefts in history, having allegedly absconded with about 300 million Singapore dollars worth of cryptocurrency, only to be caught and brought before the court in Washington, D.C. by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Lam and Serrano first set out to scare their victim into believing he was under threat of having his Google account hacked by sending the investor several unauthorized Google account access notifications, and even making it seem as though the access attempts were coming from outside the United States via the use of proxy servers. When Lam and Serrano dropped the investor a phone call, pretending to be a Google support team staff, telling the victim that there had been a hacking attempt on his account. Perhaps frightened, the victim trusted the men who claimed to be Google staff and gave them access to his accounts. This gave Lam and Serrano free rein to locate his cryptocurrency assets. The pair used sophisticated mixing methods and money laundering techniques to conceal the ownership of their stolen money, and appeared to have gone on a wild spending spree, spending more than 400,000 US dollars a night at nightclubs, purchasing luxury automobiles like Lamborghinis, Safaris, and Porsches, and even flying private jets to cash in on their newfound plunder. Lam's Bacchanalian lifestyle, however, came to a swift end on September 18, 2024, exactly a month after the phone call where he pretended to be a Google employee, when he was arrested shortly after traveling from Los Angeles to Miami via pirate jet. The FBI had also raided a massive waterfront mansion in Miami that Lam appeared to have been renting. Lam and Serrano was subsequently indicted on September 19, 2024 for fraud and money laundering.
I swear, man, they don't catch the smart ones. Because with them being smart enough to scam that much money out of somebody with crypto, wouldn't you think that you'd have to lay low? Of course, they were money laundering, but when you spend almost $500,000 a night at a bar club, somebody's going to take notice. Driving around in all the Lamborghinis and the big giant mansions, and especially being that young is very rare to have that kind of money. If he laid low, he probably would have gotten away with it, especially being outside of the US. He never comes back. It's much harder for us to find him. And he probably could have had a super nice life, but he had to have the lifestyle with it and get a little too cocky. And even if it doesn't seem like it, the FBI could be watching you at any time. But we're going to end off this video with a pretty funny one. It is still fraud, but it's just so ridiculous that I just had to put it in.
4 people in the US have been charged with fraud after their audacious plan to scam an insurance company came undone. The suspects filed a claim with supporting video stating that a bear had broken into their Rolls-Royce and damaged the interior. A closer look at the footage revealed the bear was actually just a person in a bear costume. Detectives found the costume when they raided the suspect's home.
Well, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say about that. Is it out of desperation? I mean, it was an old Rolls Royce. It's of course not super expensive. It's not like a brand new $400,000 vehicle, but they were committing fraud. They at least had some sort of money. The worst CCTV, like webcam footage, and then a guy in a bear costume with fake claws. Come on, you gotta try a little bit more if you're gonna commit insurance fraud. It is so ridiculous that it just becomes funny. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.